Welcome back to this final instalment. I hope you found all the installments that you've done so far really useful and helpful towards your general training and overall well-being. So for this final installment, it's going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to work into all those little joints that you don't normally think about. So ankles and wrists and also your neck. So we're going to start off with the neck, and from here we're just going to be seated, whether it's on your bottom or sitting in a chair, whatever feels good for you. So taking a nice deep inhale, sitting up nice and tall, roll the shoulders back, and we're going to draw the head over to the right shoulder, bringing it over to the left shoulder, over to the right, exhaling as we come over, inhaling into the middle and exhaling over to the left. Really gentle here. From here we're going to draw the head up. So you want to imagine your head is being drawn up towards the ceiling, and we're lifting, extending and lengthening the back of the neck. And as we do so, we start to sink the right ear over to the right shoulder, but try not to start drawing the shoulder up. Allow the shoulder to remain down. Inhale, and then exhale, coming over to the left side. So we're trying to work different parts of the neck muscles and moving through the neck column. Inhale, exhale over to the right, and be again mindful of the difference between facing over to the side to dropping the ear down to the side, okay? From here come to center and coming into neck roll, so drawing the chin towards the chest. Again, rather than just sinking into the chest, I want you to imagine your chin as a waterfall, and as we draw over, we sink it down, lengthening the back of the neck. From here, we're going to roll the head over to the right and release all the way down, over to the left. And now we're going to draw all the way around. Now, as you come all the way around, coming all the way back, come back to where it's comfortable. So it's not going to be yanking the neck right back. It's going to be somewhere in between, bringing the body over and switch direction. Bringing the body over and release, coming to center. Good. From here, we're going to work into the neck a little bit more deeply. So you're going to take the left hand, take it to the top of the right side of the head. You're going to draw the right arm to the outside of the body. So from here, take a nice deep inhale, you're going to draw the head up towards the ceiling and start to bring it over towards the shoulder, as you would normally just with that neck bend. With the right arm, start to gently release the right arm down, all the way down, starting to feel that stretch. So you're going to start to feel it coming across the top of the shoulder, around the back. And then from here, you're going to bring the arm forward and just see where that feels like it's moving into, if there's feeling like it's moving further into the back or maybe into the front, but it should be coming into the sort of lower region, maybe the traps around here, coming down, and then maybe draw it back, making sure that back's nice and tall, and starting to notice it maybe pulling further into the frontal part of the deltoid, coming across the collarbone. Bring it back to center, and then gently release, bring the head back up, bring the arm back up, and then you'll switch sides, right hand over to the left side, left arm out, lifting the head up and over. Really gently, we're not yanking the head, and then releasing the arm all the way down. And when I say all the way down, just come to the point where you feel that stretch. So for me it's here, but some people might be a little bit lower, some people a little bit higher. Again, be aware of the fact that you're sitting up tall, you're not leaning forward, and then you're starting to draw the hand forward, and then draw the hand back. Bring it back to center, release, bring the arms all the way to the sky, and release the arms down. Good, just roll those shoulders over, nice. One more sort of relaxation technique for your neck is actually to draw the shoulders up to the ears, hold it as tightly as you can, and release. Same again, draw all the way up to the ears, really scrunching in, and release. So these are all things you could be doing at your office desk. bringing it up, maybe in the car when you set those traffic lights, just bring it up and release. So just get rid of any tension in the traps and then up into the neck department. Okay, so moving on to wrists and ankles. So for your wrists, the first thing I want you to do is take your arms out nice and long in front of you. And you're just going to wiggle them around. So little circles, drawing them outward and then drawing them inward. And this is just a way to open them up without putting any pressure into those wrists. So if you're doing weight training or you do any kind of floor work like yoga, Pilates, that sort of thing, where you're putting a lot of pressure into the wrists, whether that's from lifting the weights or from like press ups or so forth, then this is a really nice way to warm up those wrists. Taking the hands out in front of you, you're going to take the right arm up, take the left hand to the right hand and press the heel of the hand away, finding some stretch and length in the heel of the hand. And then from here you're going to take the hand over, drawing the hand back. Again, holding that stretch and length. Now if you can, with both of these stretches, you're going to see if you can hold that stretch there. So you're going to hold it here, engaging the body to hold that stretch. The same applies to up here. So maybe your hands are a little bit more like this to start with. We draw them back. And this is a sort of a slightly strengthening exercise for the wrist as well. And we're going to hold. So you can see I'm having to really engage the wrist back to work through the forearm as well. So you're going to feel it here. Okay, keeping it nice and strong. And then release. Okay, just shake it off. Now the alternative is to come down into all fours. And we can spread those fingers and start to move forwards and backwards. Really gently moving through. Taking the hands to the outside, moving all the way across. Good. Keep it going here and maybe moving behind. Now, when you come to the behind position, you can either reach back, moving forwards, okay, holding it here, or alternatively, if you're not very confident with that, staying in that position, you're just going to lift the heel of the hand, pressing into the fingers, and the other side. So just drawing it open. And then from here, taking the hands back out in front, we're going to come up onto the fingertips, up onto the other fingertips. Now hold it here, slightly working into a bit of strength into the fingertips, but also helping to remind your body to work into the fingertips, not just the palm of the hand. There is a tendency when we've got our hands on here, we put all the weight into the heel of the hand, not using the fingertips for support. So reminding ourselves here that there was a bit of support, maybe working our way through, coming up, moving through and coming up. Okay, well done. So that's your wrists there for you, just releasing those wrists. Finally, we're going to finish off with your ankles. So there's lots of different strengthening exercises we could do for ankles, such as calf raises, pliés and so forth. But what I really want to focus on today is more the stretch element for our ankles, as we don't tend to do that, and it's for our feet as well. So we're looking at our feet and ankles here. So the first one we're going to do is tuck the toes in underneath us, and we're just going to give this a lovely little stretch. Now, if you don't feel confident enough to sit up onto your toes, then just hold your hands here and you're going to push into the hands, pressing the bum back, and you're going to feel really good stretch into those toes. For those who are happy enough to do so, come up onto your bottom, sitting into the heels, and you're going to feel the toes getting a really good stretch. Now for some, this is probably long enough, but if you feel you can hold it for a little bit longer, please do. It's something that you'll work up to, but it's a nice way to open up those toes. The next one you're going to do is to release the feet, and you can have a couple of blocks to hand, but if you don't, that's fine. I'm going to show you alternatives. So you can either take your hands behind you, and you're going to lift the chest up nice and high, and then bending into the back elbows, rolling onto the back of the feet. So we're opening the roof of the foot. Again, something we don't tend to do, and obviously with the roof of the foot that's connected into the top part of our ankle, it's a nice way to open up and release any tension in that area. Again, if you've got blocks, you can use those blocks, and we can press up into the blocks, maybe reaching up a little bit higher. Again, you can bring the blocks behind you if you prefer, whatever feels good for you. Keeping the chest lifted and release all the way down. From here, I'm going to come up to standing, and we're going to just show you two other ankle movement stretches. One is more of a mobility stretch, so it's to find your range of movement within your ankle joint, and it gives you a good gauge of where you're at this point in time with your mobility, and if you feel you need to improve it. So what you're going to do is take your hands to your wall, take your right foot forward. Now to start with, we're going to be able to do this. You're going to draw your knee to the wall, and that's all I want you to do. Now you're going to step the foot back a little bit, maybe an inch to half an inch. Keep going and bring the knee to the floor, to the wall. But keep that bottom heel on the ground. If you're finding the bottom heel is raising, then you need to bring the foot closer. I'm going to keep going back a little bit more. Squeezing into that front knee, heel down. Go back a little bit more. And the same again. This is probably my end point. This is as far as I feel I can go, keeping the heel down before I'm going to want to lift the heel up, okay? Just to be able to get my knee to that wall. If your knee does start to feel like it needs to come, the heel needs to come up, then bring the foot slightly further forward and hold it here. Wherever the position is that is your ultimate end range, just hold it there for between 10 to 20 seconds and then switch sides and work into the other side. Just take a note of the distance. Sometimes, I've worked with clients and there will be a really good sort of measurement between the wall and their foot on the one side, go to the other, and they can barely get maybe half the same distance. Normally this is due to an ankle injury or something similar to that. Okay, so your last stretch that I want you to work into is your calves. Now there's loads of calf stretches out there, you've probably seen most of them, so this is the two that I want you to do. You bring the toe up towards the wall, heel comes to the floor. You're going to get your back up nice and tall, and you're going to press into the back foot. So by pressing the back foot, we increase the stretch into the calf. We want to keep the back up tall and pulling into tummy, keeping that lift. Obviously, if you want to make it harder, you just press up more into that back leg. I find that's a far more effective stretch than some of the more standard stretches that you'll see, including bringing the leg back behind you. The other stretch I want you to work on is one which sort of targets the soleus. So it's the smaller muscles sitting in between the bigger muscles of the calves which sit on the outside. So for this one, we bring the foot back, kind of looks like this, okay? So we're coming back and you're just going to sink the back knee towards the front leg. The front leg stays straight and long, and the back leg is the one that bends. And as we bend into it even more, you're going to start to feel this stretch coming into the back of this leg here. Holding it here, and then it's coming up, switch sides, same again. So if you don't feel that that stretch is deep enough, you can bring the back leg back a little bit more, but you're ultimately trying to get to a point where that knee is coming in line with the other knee. Hold it here, feeling that little stretch there, and release. I hope you've enjoyed that and that you've enjoyed this whole 5-day series of mobility and stretching, and I do look forward to hearing your comments. Please do get in touch if you would like to know more about programming and what I offer in terms of one-to-one yoga and strength and conditioning. Please do get in contact. I'll see you then.